Mr. Reese told me that the ideal chapel talk is less than 13 minutes, so I'll try to stay with it. Speaking of time, there are 28 hours until spring break. That's 1,680 minutes, not that anyone's counting. Tomorrow will be a community in transit. So on the eve of this busy occasion, I'd like to share a personal experience that highlights what I believe are some of the life-changing benefits of travel. It started 6 years ago in Manhattan. I was working as a writer at a large financial firm, and I'd been there for 2 years since graduating from college. It was a great job that I felt lucky to have, especially in the aftermath of the financial crisis. I loved my colleagues, and I loved my paycheck. There was just one problem. I didn't love my job. The days were exhausting and repetitive. The work was stressful and unfulfilling. Mrs. Grover and I were dating then, and she was starting to feel the same way about her advertising job. We didn't know what type of work we wanted to do next, but we knew we had to be more passionate about it. And because we were committed to making our next jobs ones that we could really dig our heels into, we didn't want to make any impulsive decisions. So we quit our jobs and moved to New Zealand. Neither one of us studied abroad in college, but we shared a desire to try living overseas for an extended period. We had decent savings thanks to our jobs, and we didn't have anything major tying us down, like a pet or a small human being. So it seemed like the perfect time to take a gap year. We bought one-way tickets and packed everything we wanted to bring into 60-liter backpacks. In September 2012, we said goodbye to our families and began our journey. The only thing I wasn't looking forward to was the marathon flight from San Francisco to Auckland. As we boarded the plane and discovered that our seats were in the middle row, I let out an audible groan. Great, I mumbled to Mrs. Grover. 13 hours of fighting strangers for elbow room. At least we're sitting together, she offered. 2 quick points. 1, my wife's worldview is decisively more optimistic than mine, so I'm working on it. And 2, one of the strangers sitting next to us changed our year. Shortly after takeoff, the lady next to Meg leaned over. "Pardon me," she said, in a voice that sounded like every grandmother that's ever existed. Her name was Karen. She was about 60 years old with rosy cheeks and blonde hair that was starting to go white. She needed help with her TV screen. We obliged and ended up having a pretty in-depth conversation. Karen was returning home to New Zealand after visiting her son, a Kiwi expat who was a doctor in North Carolina. She listened eagerly as we told her about our travel plans and asked where we hoped to spend time. We rattled off a handful of places, including Wellington. Karen's face lit up as she told us that her daughter lived there, and it was a beautiful city. We chatted a few more minutes before returning to our screens and dozing on and off for the rest of the flight. 12 hours later, as we walked off the plane, Karen handed us a piece of paper with a phone number and email address scribbled across it. "My daughter's visiting the States in November," she said, "and she's looking for someone to watch her cat. You two seem all right." That's how we spent November in Wellington. We ended up spending December there too because we met another couple who needed a dog sitter. This experience taught me a couple valuable lessons about travel. The first one is to play the hand you're dealt because you never know where it will lead you. In other words, if I could go back in time, I'd tell myself not to be such an infant about sitting in the middle row. It worked out. The second lesson is to make the most out of every social interaction. I found this to be a good life lesson too. People like helping other people, and relationships can form in any setting. You just need to put yourself out there and be open to them. Furthermore, living in a foreign country can be pretty difficult, especially when you're on a budget. And the goodwill of locals can take you a long way. After landing in Auckland, we took a ferry to Waiheke Island, which is it's similar to Nantucket in terms of its size and proximity to the Netherlands. And before traveling, we'd use this website called Gumtree, which is basically an Australian-New Zealand Craigslist, but a little less creepy. We used that to find work at a bed and breakfast. They were looking for a couple helpers for a 2-week stint during their busy season. And the pay wasn't very good. It was nothing. But they were offering room and board in exchange for 3 hours of work each day. As we crossed the Hauraki Gulf en route to Waiheke, I was hit by alternating waves of euphoria and panic. On one hand, we were finally in New Zealand. The Auckland skyline, which I had memorized from flipping and clicking through dozens of travel books and blogs, was finally right in front of us. Our year abroad was finally underway. But on the other hand, we were about to spend a year in a foreign country, and we only had a plan for the first 14 days. I was always the kind of person who needed a white-knuckle grip on my future. So, not knowing where we would sleep or what we would do after those 2 weeks made me pretty anxious. However, before leaving, we had agreed that an important part of our trip was forcing ourselves to be spontaneous and uncomfortable. And this certainly fit the bill. After Waiheke, we spent the next 5 months exploring the North Island. We settled in Wellington for a bit, thanks to Karen, and backpacked across the rest of the island. To ensure we didn't blow through our savings, we held ourselves to strict monthly budgets. When cash was tight, we looked for cool opportunities to work in exchange for room and board. And when that wasn't an option, we'd sleep in hostels and trade cheap recipes with fellow travelers. And those are some of my fondest memories from that year. Aside from instilling financial discipline and some thrifty habits, this experience was enriching on a number of levels. For one, I got to spend a lot of time with Mrs. Grover. And I don't mean this in a sappy, romantic way. If I can borrow a phrase from our president, I mean this in an extreme vetting kind of way. She wasn't Mrs. Grover yet, and even though we'd been dating for a few years, this was different. This was very different. Mark Twain once wrote, "I have found no surer way to find out whether you like people or hate them than to travel with them." I'll take that a step further. If you're trying to figure out whether you want to spend the rest of your life with someone, go on a long trip together. In some cases, the plane ride there might be enough to answer the question. Travel's fun and exciting and pleasurable. It can also be stressful and uncomfortable. And when it's just you and another person in a foreign land with no escape hatch and no friends and family to wrap you in a security blanket when things get tough, you get to test how you function as a team and how well you take care of each other. Another thing I appreciate when I look back on this period is how traveling helped me become a more dynamic individual. In English class, we often discuss whether characters are dynamic or static, meaning do they change or stay the same. This is one of the fundamental questions I've always had about human nature and about myself. After 2 years in New York, I felt like I was leading a pretty static existence. Adapting to life in a foreign culture forces you to learn, and when necessary, to change. As a crude example, take the simple act of crossing the street. If you're crossing Route 44 in Salisbury, Connecticut, you look left and then right. If you're crossing, Richmond Road in Auckland, New Zealand, you better look right before you look left, you stupid American. Those aren't my words, that's from the lady who almost killed me on Richmond Road. Beyond simple Darwinian changes, traveling led to a more substantial transformation within me. My values shifted as I started to look at the world through a wider lens, and I found my actions changing to align with these new values. When I graduated from college, for example, making money was one of my top priorities. My actions and decisions, like taking a job in finance, reflected this. Even when we left for New Zealand, I left with the mindset that I'd seek a high-paying job when we returned. Spoiler alert, I didn't. But through the course of the year, as we immersed ourselves in a completely different culture, we met and befriended people with different values. For our last 6 months, we settled in Queenstown and rented a room in a house with 3 Kiwis. 2 of our roommates were serious skiers. Pete was a professional free skier, and his girlfriend Sophie was a talented artist. Their lifestyle involved hopscotching the hemispheres, chasing winter around the globe. Pete would compete, Soph would ski recreationally and paint, and they'd basically count change to pay their bills or find couches to crash on. At first, I didn't understand how people could lead such carefree lives with little regard for stability or prosperity. But as I got to know them, and as I got to know their friends, a colorful crew that included professional skiers and mountain bikers, a wingsuit skydiving instructor, a radio DJ, and a golf-loving greenskeeper, I realized that their lives were far from carefree. They actually cared deeply about the things that consumed their lives. Furthermore, they all seemed incredibly happy. When I worked in finance, I didn't really care about the work I was doing. I wouldn't say I was incredibly happy. What I truly care about, and I've always enjoyed doing, is reading books, dissecting movies, and playing recreational sports. So to cut a long story short, I came to value the way these people led their lives, and I applied a similar philosophy as I decided how to reframe mine. Today, I get to teach a course called Literature and Film. In the afternoons, I've developed a nice routine of schooling Mr. Strauss and Mr. Fairston in basketball while trying to avoid Hurricane Milano. So I hope this hasn't been too disjointed, but if I could distill my message into a single sentence, it would be this. The benefits of travel are endless. Besides reading, I can't think of a more efficient form of education. The traveler is faced with constant opportunities to learn about the world. And with an open mind, he can also learn a great deal about himself. So I encourage you to make the most of the opportunities you face this vacation. Whether you're in transit or at your destination, whether you're going home, exploring Asia on the school trip, or heading south for spring training, every hand you're dealt, good or bad, is a chance to grow. Have fun, be safe, enjoy your spring break. It's only, let me do the math, 1,668 minutes away. Thank you.